Hang up and try again.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect those of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.
Tug lightly on this bowl of mine. Well, my screen has seen some better times. Well, my buddy poked a hole, now my weed falls deep inside. Please tug lightly on this bowl of mine. You like music, you like weed, well, we gonna be good friends indeed. This is not much I like more than smoking trees. They'll make you dance the do-si-do and teach you how the chiba grows. Smoke a bowl on the 420 radio show. On Lifestyle Radio.
All right, we're here. Hi, how are you? This is 420 Radio Show. We're live on lifestyleradio.net. Come on in the chat room, say hello, smoke a joint, have a bagel, cookie.
Relax.
Yeah, relax, whatever. Have a coffee.
Sit back with your Timmies.
Yeah, oh, Timmy's. If you are listening from anywhere other than in Canada and you don't know about Tim Hortons coffee, you got something you need to learn. It's one of the good things.
I'm losing faith in Timmy's coffee. I'm not liking it much anymore.
I love it.
I'm 3 weeks without a Timmy's.
Oh, that's right. You've had an issue lately.
Pepsi too. So,
as much as I hate to say it, I'm actually enjoying McDonald's coffee better.
Now, I've heard a lot of people say that. Chris, are you having an easier time peeing now that you're not drinking as much Tim Hortons coffee? And I'm not saying that it's the brand. I just in general.
No, I'm drinking tea now instead. Just tiny bit of milk, tiny bit of sugar, but no difference. People thought I was going to have headaches and everything. I mean, I just stopped drinking between 4 and 6 liters of Pepsi.
That's a good help.
But I gained weight the first 2 weeks.
I cut out pop. I really have. I'm down to maybe a can or a bottle a month, maybe every couple of weeks. Okay.
See, as a Crohn's patient, I find when I can't digest regular food, sugar works really easy because your body doesn't have to do much with it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It melts and you're good.
I can't do that though because I'm diabetic.
There you go.
Yeah. So we're here with the Electro Pig, Mr. Melvin. And Lori is off with a broken computer, unfortunately. So what we're going to be doing over the next little while until we rectify that is we're going to have somebody be sitting in Lori's seat when Lori can't be here, keeping it warm for her.
So, Melvin, you're our female host tonight.
Yes.
Okay.
So you've got the ladies.
You sound very pretty.
You've got the ladies' point of view. So
she doesn't sound very pretty, though.
That's not really what I was getting at.
Hey, I've got a voice that's suitable for radio.
You and me both, brother.
We have to turn him up, though. We have to go
sister.
Sister. Yeah. We have to go into the audio settings and turn up Mr. Bond, Melvin Bond.
Pump up the volume.
There you go.
Play that funky music.
Oh, there we go. Go.
Okay.
So, also, Mr. Ross Middleton will be sitting in now and then as well. We are going to try and find a couple of female counterparts as well, so that we get the female voice in the show too, because sometimes Marcel and I are guys.
And
and we're gonna go find some females. What is it? A weekend out or something, or what?
Well, no, maybe some of our listeners will step up and give us a hand, or we can just keep getting Melvin back to do it. It's up to the ladies. If they want Melvin representing them, then fine.
Yeah, and if anybody asks,
you
you
win
can
the next
just
Woman
tell
of the
them,
Year
"Oh,
award."
I'm a lesbian or something.
We're gonna call him Caitlin.
No.
Oh God! Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't.
No,
Please
no,
don't
no,
go
no.
there. Please don't
Oh,
go there, Marcel.
Too far.
Have
Too
we
far.
not had a shitty enough week as it is?
Yeah, too soon.
So Chris wanted to do the news live. He wanted to do it at the top of the store. The top of the show, because then it gives us something to talk about. We're also going to open up our phone lines. If you'd like to call in, 323-795-2420. Please wait until, around the halfway mark. Hell, if you want to call in, call in.
That's Friday night.
Yeah, it's Friday night. And let's see, what else are we going to do? We're going to hopefully get a caller or two. We're going to teach Melvin how to use our little online studio here. And we'll be right back with a conversation about cannabis with three people who know what they're talking about. So,
and I'm faking it.
And he's always thinking it. So on that note, we've got a song by Snoop Dogg, "My Medicine." It's the 420 Radio Show, live Lifestyle Radio. We'll be back. "My Medicine." It's the 420 Radio Show.
This is Bubbles from the trailer park, and they're playing some fucking excellent music on lifestyleradio.ca. I hope I didn't sound too nervous there.
Please hang up and try again.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Yeah, I'd like to dedicate this record right here to my main man, Johnny Cash, a real American gangster. I got my nephew Whitey Ford on the guitar, Young Trev on the drums, Grand Ole Opry, here we come. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack put the spoon on the candlestick. Dope stick pimpin' on the one-trick pony. Yeah, she kinda skinny, but she gets my money. Get my money, buy my medicine, buy my medicine, buy my medicine. Get my money, buy my medicine, buy my medicine, buy my medicine. Yeah, I got to have that medicine, that prescription medicine, baby. Purple, orange, green. Jack starts hanging around with the fiends. Got strung out, sold the cow for beans. Told young wifey, I love you, honey, but you gotta hit the streets, go and get my money. Get my money, buy my medicine, buy my medicine, buy my medicine. Get my money, buy my medicine, buy my medicine, buy my medicine. Yeah, the more dedicated, the more medicated. Can you feel me? Girl, my love's gonna last just as long as my high. And I'm high all day, every day. You can trust every word I'm gonna say will be a lie. Yeah, I lie sometimes. What's the use of the truth if you can't tell a lie sometimes, baby? Now dig this. Jack starts a track up and down the hill. Got to walk and figure ace what he told the jail. Come rain, come shine, come snow if it's sunny. Get the fuck out, girl, and get my money. Get my money, buy my medicine, buy my medicine, buy my medicine. Get my money, buy my medicine, buy my medicine, buy my medicine. Yeah, they say you can't buy me love, but you damn sure can buy me bud. Girl, my love's gonna last just as long as my high. Oh, I'm so high right now. How about you? You can trust every word I'm gonna tell you is a lie. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Girl, I love you. I love you though.
We're back. This is the 420 Radio Show.
With Crackly Al.
With Crackly Al.
Al's on crack.
Al's on crack. Al's on crack.
No, I'm not. I am
Crack
not on crack. No, I'm not. So is that better?
No.
Really? Because I don't hear it at all.
Oh, we hear it.
Really?
Just when you talk.
Yeah, it's only when you talk. Everybody else, it's fine.
Well, normal people
have to be different.
Yeah.
I have to be different. Yeah, it's just me. Let me see if I can fix this here. But it's not going. The crackling is not going into the feed, though. That's the thing. Like it's just you guys are hearing it.
Okay, cool.
Hopefully.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. I think so. Anyways.
Yeah. All right. So you'll just be annoying to us, not anybody else.
Do I have a crackle? Did Al ever get the chance to play My Garden on the playlist? My Garden. Which song was that, Hillary? She'll answer in about 5 minutes. All right. So, what are we going to talk about, guys? We got a lot of stuff going on in the cannabis community, and I got a song I want to play.
Okay.
And so you guys can talk about what you want to talk about, and we're going to listen to this song.
Yo, 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 yo. I wrote a rap. I wrote a little rap song.
Go ahead. Talk amongst yourselves.
A little rap song on my BlackBerry.
Put that song.
I dedicate this song to Marcel's daughter. It seems like this is what she likes to listen to, eh, Marcel?
Yeah.
This is what teenagers listen to now. All right, that's enough of that.
Thanks the song that you're expected to hear coming from the shower of a 14-year-old.
Marcel, thank you for your submission, but we won't be playing that song again.
Because it's like a really annoying song, but what's worse, the damn thing is now stuck in your head. You're stuck with it for at least the rest of the night, guys. Sorry.
Pussy, 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 marijuana.
It's like the new version of the Macarena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what they were going through. You know? Now, oh, wow, that's bad. Holy. Eh?
Hey, consistency is important, man.
Consistency is important. That's what they say. So, what are we going to talk about today, guys?
Where's Chris in his news? I thought we were talking about the news.
Yeah,
that's what I thought was going on. I mean, I can just go launch right into it. If that's how you want to do it, or what do you want to do?
Let's do the
what's
the news
first,
promo.
buddy?
Let's do the promo. The news promo. Here comes the news promo.
What's first is doing the promo, huh?
Yeah, got to do the promo. Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll keep working on our coffee and try to kickstart our brains.
Okay, the promo is playing.
Promo? When are we going on here?
Go ahead, Chris.
Do your promo.
Welcome to the 420 Radio Show. This is Chris Backer with your 420 seconds of news.
You're going to be longer than 420 seconds, dude.
Yeah, we're going to be stretching it out. We're going to take 420 and really
stretch it out to about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We're going to talk very slowly.
Yeah. Maybe not quite that slow.
So when is this back on here?
We're back on already, Chris.
We are back on.
Yes,
okay.
We're back on.
Hey, you know what? We do this every Friday night, Chris. We get together.
Yeah.
We do this live show. And when we take breaks,
yeah,
when we come back, we don't tell anybody.
Yeah, I saw that. Thanks.
Well, you're welcome. I just thought you should have figured it out long before now.
No, because I've got one or two more of these into me than I probably should have. So,
see,
I probably missed the cues.
Yeah,
but that's all right. There is all kinds of stuff to talk about tonight. I mean, I wanted to talk about in New York, actually, at the last minute, a new set of amendments were introduced in legislature that turned their medical cannabis bill into one of the most restrictive bills of its kind in the country. Only 10 conditions are covered. Only 5 strains of cannabis-based oils can be sold in dispensaries, but no whole plant or anything smokable or edible. Only 5 companies are approved to manufacture the oils and sell them. Doctors that want to be able to certify patients to use medical cannabis are required to take a 4-hour course costing $249. Those were all restrictions put in place by the governor, says Netherland, who says that he would say that that's pretty much what gutted the bill. So far, only 226 physicians in New York State have taken the course and qualified. So, I mean, the New York, they were talking about legalizing, and they really didn't go all the way with it, huh?
Man, and people think we got it bad with the MMPR.
Yeah.
And people wonder why I say repeal.
A 4-hour course.
But now, on the same token, I just read an article about New York, and New York City now has 62% less arrest for possession of cannabis.
There was an article there a while ago about a game that they were playing in New York. You're allowed to have it for possession, but you can't be caught smoking it in public. But there's so many people that it almost becomes a game. People lighting up and then taking off after they finish it, and by the time that anybody comes there to complain about it, there's nobody left, right? So
yeah.
It's become a game of token seek kind of thing.
Yeah, that sounds like a game, man.
I mean, yeah, if I was a kid, I'd be all over that, but I don't know. To me, it's medicine now, so. But that sucks that they can't actually have a medical program that lets them have real cannabis, because
it's ridiculous.
What kind of stupid stipulations do they have on the oil? It's the same thing that they do with the LPs here by saying they can only have 3%.
5 strains. I mean, we all know it's strains for pain. It's different things work for different conditions.
Every person is different.
Absolutely.
Yep, every plant is different, and every metabolism is different.
What was that, Peg?
No, every single strain has a different cannabinoid profile. It has different levels of terpenes in it, and every person's metabolism is different. So that's what I was all pissed off about before is all these people in all across Canada who gave up the strains that they had been growing for 10, 15, 20 years, whatever. Gave them to these licensed producers, and all of a sudden, the licensed producers, they can't produce it anymore either, and it's like, so all of these strains that have actually been proven to work for specific conditions, they're gone.
Yeah, see,
to be reintroduced to you later by Monsanto.
Luckily, not everybody gave up their strains.
Oh, absolutely not.
Well, you'd hope that people actually took the time to get some seeds out of the stuff, but I don't know. I've been fighting with people to think about seeds as a valuable resource for years as well, and they just, what do you want seeds for? You can't do nothing with seeds. No, just grow plants.
Except that's exactly how I get my medicine, is from seeds.
That's crazy.
Also, we got Good Weeds Dispensary, whom we've talked about a couple of times lately. They were raided a little while ago. They have, of course, they just reopened the next night after being raided by the police the evening before. Co-owner Don Briere said his business partners and operators of the store, Aaron and Chris Goodwin, are now out on bail, but court order restrict them from having any contact with Good Weeds. Briere said after the raid, the business is now operating solely as a vapor lounge with no sales at the location itself. The Goodwins have been charged with several cannabis offenses, including possession for the purposes of trafficking and possession of proceeds of crime. Toronto police said they've received complaints about the store, causing them to deviate from their previous stance of largely ignoring the city's cannabis-related businesses to focus on other priorities, similar to Vancouver's authorities' approach. Toronto councillor Joe Creasy told the Globe and Mail that unlike the Western city, Toronto has no plans to attempt to regulate its booming dispensary industry at a municipal level. For the city of Toronto to establish its own bylaws that would become moot in a matter of months after they've been put in place is not the prudent and responsible way to proceed, said Cressy. So, I mean, they got shut down. They started back up. I mean, at least they open back up again. That the people, as they get shut down, they need to fight back. That's what we have to do. Otherwise, we're never going to get anywhere. I mean, everybody wants the dispensaries to go away and the vapor lounges to go away, but they're not. The LPs don't offer enough of the options that we're looking for, and where else are you going to get it? The black market?
The guy down the road.
Better medicine. Just saying.
I've heard people say a drug dealer is a drug dealer, whether he's just standing on the corner or if he's sitting at a fancy desk behind a bar, behind a counter, and you're just sitting at a bar stool. I mean, it makes no difference. But at least with the dispensaries, you're expecting to get a better quality product, and they're much more competitive than the LPs are for the most part.
They are becoming a lot more competitive.
I mean, some of the mail order ones, I mean, I see people getting some beautiful shatter for just great prices from all the way from BC. So
I'm seeing the same thing with a lot of hash too.
Yeah. And that's stuff that you can't even get from the LPs. So thank God that it's out there. I mean, if it wasn't for people doing that, like Chris Ends and people sticking their neck out.
Right. But the thing is the shatter, the hashes, the edibles, topicals, and things like that are now all essentially legal for authorized patients. So that's why you're seeing more shatter, and because the court ruling from the Supreme Court didn't allow us to be able to sell and transfer plant matter. It was only for derivatives.
Well, it's not even just that. I mean, shatter and wax they were a natural progression of the plant. I mean, it's a cleaner way to smoke. You don't have to smoke all the plant matter. I mean, it was now with the vapor pens and the nails, we have, we've come along and far enough that we can consume our cannabis in like some of the most healthful ways that you could possibly do it.
Yeah, without all that disgustingly tasting chlorophyll and other plant matter.
Yeah, the important thing is
I still like smoking a joint. I mean, there is something special about smoking the flower itself, but the wax and the shatter gives you the same smell and the same taste. It just doesn't fill your lungs the same way. That's the only difference there.
What were you going to say, Pig?
No, I was just saying that the way things are going, the only thing that's really important is the corporation's profit and that you pay a third party for permission to not die.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's just one of those. It's one of those sticking points that it doesn't really matter what we do as long as we refuse to acknowledge the fact that pieces of paper in Canada, basically around the world, pieces of paper that were written by douchebags that we paid to help us take our rights away, and they're more important than us. Pieces of paper are more important than human life now. And we're not even talking about the fraudulent fiat debt notes that people believe are money. We're talking about just crap that comes out of Ottawa that some idiot thought of.
Yeah. It's a game.
Yep.
Well,
but, like I always say, it helps you to remember all those words that Mommy told you not to say when you were little, so it's not a total waste.
Yeah.
Well, we have our government talking about legalization, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, and we see how fast that's
that
going.
Legalization is going to include the use and promotion of hemp as an industrial product.
Oh, they just want to sell pot out the door. That's it. They're just trying to sell cannabis out the window and be gone. That's it. There's nothing about resources. There's nothing about industry at all.
They want to create taxes. They want to screw people over, make them think that they're getting something that was stolen from them. Well, geez, if you get something back that was stolen from you after a century and you're supposed to be happy about it, I mean, come on. We had this stuff. Man, cannabis used to grow wild everywhere. Everywhere. And we're supposed to be happy that we're just getting a tiny sliver of our rights back.
That's what these dispensaries are, is us taking our rights back. Because with Goodweed's reopening and in Windsor, Just Windsor's first medical cannabis vaping lounge barely had time to open its doors, and the city officials are talking about finding ways to regulate that type of business there. Higher Limits is already buzzing with customers after opening about 2 weeks ago, according to co-owner Don Latique, who says he offers a safe place for medicinal cannabis users to hang out while also eliminating some of the stigma attached to cannabis use. Currently, the city doesn't have any bylaws regulating vaping lounges, but Councillor Rhino Bortland wants to change that. See, Toronto doesn't want to do anything about it, but Windsor thinks that it's time that they should. So everybody's on a different page.
Did it in 90, what was it, 96 or something?
Say that again?
Well, Windsor already did that in 96. They already had. I think that was one of the first cannabis clubs or whatever you want to call it in Ontario, I think. After Prohibition was repealed in the courts.
Com's been around for a long time as well.
Well, they might have the club, but this is their first cannabis vaping lounge.
Well, that was pretty much as far as I know. Anyways, I never actually went there, but as far as I dimly recollect, that's what was opening up then. When they had that court ruling that said that cannabis prohibition was unconstitutional, that killed it. At least in Ontario, it killed it. It was dead.
That was in 2003.
Oh, I can't remember when it was. It took a couple of years before they. It took about a year, I think, before they actually opened it up.
That's crazy.
Yep. So basically, what we're doing now is what we did 20 years ago, and decided, we're not going to bother fighting it. We're going to play legal games.
Yeah, but that's what they do. So what did they do? Hey, listen, guys. I found a CBC radio bit that basically the topic was when police knock on your door, and I thought I would play it, and then we can talk about that as well. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to listen to that. This is not us. This is CBC Radio something or other, and I found it on the internet, and I'm going to play it for you, and then we'll be back. This is the 420 Radio Show. Come on in the chat room. I had to leave, but come on in the chat room. We'll be right back.
Police may show up at your door. I'm not accusing you of anything. This could be for a number of reasons. Maybe your son was caught throwing toilet paper on the neighbor's trees, or they're delivering sad news about the death of a loved one. They may also be following up on a crime. There's nothing implicitly wrong with the police showing up at your door for any of that, but we heard in the news this week about a police officer breaking the rules in 2003 in Yellowknife. A Mountie gained access to a home by giving false information to social services. The police were then allowed to follow social services into the home. And that's led us to this discussion. Peter Hart has been a lawyer practicing in the North since 2005. He joins us to talk about the law around when police can come into your house. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Lauren.
Thank you for doing this. So, what do the police need to be able to enter your home?
To be able to enter a home, the police need to either have a search warrant. The other warrant or type of warrant they could have is what's called a Feeney warrant, which justifies entering a home to effect an arrest. Or they need to have a belief that there are what are called exigent circumstances, namely circumstances where somebody's safety or health is at risk. Another word for exigent might be emergency circumstances. Effectively, they arise most commonly in situations of domestic violence where there's concern about a spouse whose safety is at risk if police don't enter the premises.
Now, what if they don't have these things and just come to the door and say, can we come in? Can you say no? If you say no, can you just close the door and that's it?
You can say no, and you can close the door, and that's it. If they want to enter the residence to effect an arrest, if there are not exigent circumstances, they have to get what's called a feeney warrant. Or if they want to search more broadly and they don't just want to effect an arrest, then they have to get a search warrant. If they don't have one of those three things, they are trespassers, just like anybody else you don't want on your property. And when you close the door, they're required to leave.
Now, what if I'm sort of walking through this, front door interaction? What if you invite them in, maybe to stay warm or to talk about whatever they want to talk about? What have you allowed them to do now that they're in your house?
The starting point really is search, and as it's legally defined, a search is state or police activity that infringes on a reasonable expectation of privacy. Once you have invited the police into your house, you are said to have, by that consent, a reduced expectation of privacy. If, when the police come into your front door, they see a bag of marijuana on your front stand, they're entitled to make an arrest for possession of narcotics or a substance that's a controlled substance under the Controlled Drug and Substances Act, and arrest you right then and there. They are not allowed, however, to walk outside of the hallway area that you've given them consent to enter and conduct a search of your premises more generally. They're required to stay in the hallway and have the discussion with you that they indicated to you they wanted to enter your premises to have.
So what if you invite them in and then you want them to leave? Do they have to go?
If they don't have any legal basis to continue to remain on your premises, they have to, just like anybody else, observe the rules with respect to trespass. And when they're no longer welcome on your property, they have to leave unless, as I say, they've got a legal reason to stay there.
Plenty of people come to our front doors. Do the police need any special privileges, or is there a process that they have to go through so that they're able to come to your door or come on your property?
Everybody can come to your front door, and the police are no different. Once you've indicated that you want them to leave your property, then they're required to leave, as I say, just like anybody else. So the police, in terms of coming and knocking on the door, do not have to have any special authorization. They do if they're coming to arrest you, in which case they need to have the feeney warrant, but without that kind of documentation or special permission, they have to leave when they're no longer welcome on your property.
What's your sense of how willing the police are to follow these rules, and how typically aware police are of these rules that sort of take us to that threshold of the front door?
I have to say, I think almost always the police are prepared to observe the rules. Frequently, I have seen briefs that I get from the Crown with respect to criminal charges where the police have prepared feeney warrants, and they do that commonly if they expect that they're going to have a problem at the front door. But also, the police generally, in my experience, respect people's wishes to leave their premises if they're not prepared to open the door or refuse to come with the police when they're asked to come with the police. And the police come and knock on the door, and if they find the person they're trying to arrest and can effect an arrest sort of at the doorway, they do it. Generally, the police don't want to see a good investigation go south, and so they'll try and follow all the rules. And my sense, to be honest, is that the RCMP don't want to get a reputation as rule breakers. This situation that we heard about recently about an RCMP officer breaking the rules, in my experience, is unusual.
Do you have examples, real life examples of how this plays out in your experience, where maybe these boundaries and rights are not respected?
I was talking to Peter about a case that involved the police going to a house because they believed an accused person was there. Now, the reason they believed the accused person was there was because they trespassed on the property and were peeking through the windows. And then they subsequently showed up at the door, having placed other members at the back door of the house on the deck. They knocked on the door. They were permitted to enter the house, and then they saw the guy they were trying to arrest, or they claimed they saw the guy they were trying to arrest. So they dashed into the house, and then the guys who were at the back door came in through the back door, and the guy was arrested. In connection with that, a number of criminal charges were laid, and ultimately all of the charges were stayed because the police conduct was pretty outrageous. First, trespassing on property and peeking through windows. Second, coming to the door only with the view of arresting the guy who they were expecting to find within, and asking, do you mind if we come in, when really they knew that they were going to come in and arrest this guy. And also stationing people on the back deck of the property so that he couldn't get out. They could have waited at the edge of the property, but again, their conduct in not respecting the property owner's rights was so outrageous that all of the charges ended up being stayed by the Crown because they felt that they couldn't justify that kind of conduct.
Well, what do you think of that?
Well, I agree. I've always had that attitude. You come to my door, you better have a warrant or a gun.
Yeah, but like they brought a few points. I mean, it's like I've been pulled over because they smelled cannabis, and as I get out of the car, they're putting you in handcuffs, and I go, but I'm a patient. They go, we'll find your license when we search your car. So they just violated my rights so they could they arrested me to search me. They find nothing, and then they have to let me go.
Right.
I mean, you're supposed to lodge a complaint at that point.
And they claim it's for their safety.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to lodge a complaint against a cop. I know that firsthand. When I was about 19, I was sitting down at the dock, minding my own business, and all of a sudden, a cop runs up, sticks a gun in my face, tells me if I put my hands on that steering wheel, he's going to blow my fucking brains out. And I said, what? I mean, are you out of your mind? And I just freaked out on the guy. You have some nerve pulling a gun on me. I've got a gun a foot away from my head. You know, sitting there doing absolutely nothing. I went to the police station to complain about it, and they said, oh, well, we had a report of someone with a gun who was wearing a white suit with a red tie. And I said, I was sitting in a white Camaro with a red interior. They said, "Oh, it's close enough. We're not gonna file any charges." So no, I don't trust anything a cop says anymore.
No, it makes it tough.
Oh yeah, well they're not your friend. You should never invite them in.
No.
I've worked with cops before, so I know how they work, and. No, it's not something that you want to do. So where the one was going on about the cop going in with the social services, I watched cops go to the door with me as a bylaw enforcement officer, and before we leave, they get everybody's information, name and date of birth, and one time asked why, and he said, well, because I have to, every call we have to log a file. He said, so it's easy for me to put it in that I was speaking with you. That was fine with them. So when we left, and I looked at the cop and I said, that's a pretty slimy way to get information. I said, for you to go back, looking through the computer, check everybody, and then go back and arrest whoever's got the outstanding warrant. He says, just doing my job. There's your attitude for you. Can you hear me?
That's better.
There we go.
All right. Sorry about that.
I was just trying to type. I can hardly hear you.
It sounded like you were going like this, and you were falling asleep while you were talking, and it was just getting.
No, I think my mic. My mic slid down.
Oh, I was just like, what the.
I was thinking he was getting a little quiet for a second
there. It was a trip, man. I thought
maybe, folks.
Maybe he medicated too much or something.
Yeah.
Trust me, you can ask them here. I'm not quiet.
So
no, it's an interesting little blurb. Yeah, it's a lot of good information there for people to be aware of.
That's
Don't
why
let a
I
cop
thought
in
we'd
your
play
house.
it.
That's it.
Yeah. That's why I thought I'd play it. Was there anything else in the news that was a big to do?
Yeah, what was next on your news list there, Mr. Newsman?
Oh, well, in keeping with the whole dispensary thing, the whole dispensary LP, I myself have actually spent a little bit of time in court lately with Christopher Enns, a pharmacist, the Medical Cannabis Lounge, that was we've been back in court. He was back in court, on drug charges this week. As many people know, the police raided pharmacists in early December for a third time, and Chris Enns and a couple of other people were arrested at the time. He's facing charges under the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act once again. I'm legally 100% authorized to provide cannabis for 2 individuals, Chris Enns said outside the court. Even if there's an argument that I'm not allowed to go outside of those 2 licensed individuals and provide to other medicinally authorized individuals, we at least need to get the return of the cannabis so that the 2 individuals that are suffering right now can access that cannabis. One of our patients has cancer diagnosis, and at the end of the day, they're using it not only to prevent symptoms, but to prevent the onset or metastasis of the tumor, and so dealing with this quickly as possible is important, Chris Enns said. Judge Bill Digby asked the federal lawyer for assurances that the cannabis product would not be destroyed before the matter is heard. Judge Digby also asked Chris Enns, who is representing himself, if he had any particular questions and knew the process they would have to follow going forward. Digby said not everyone realizes what a multi-headed monster the federal government is. The case will be back in provincial court at the end of this month, and at which time, Chris Enns will argue for the return of the cannabis and also announce how he wants the drug charges against him to proceed. He was also just giving oral arguments on a 601 motion to quash his charges based on the Polkoa and Beano arguments. These arguments, simply put, show that since the Owen Smith decision in 2015, which showed that we haven't been allowed to use cannabis as oil and we were supposed to be allowed, cannabis laws have been of no force or effect that entire time. So after a brilliant explanation of his case, the judge had to take some time to consider all the information that Chris provided, and they'll be back in court on that on March 3rd. So I'd love to, talk to you, bend your guys' ear and see what you think about the whole Polkoa and Beano arguments and the quashing of the charges. The judges don't seem to buy it very well. The lawyers don't seem to want to argue it here in Nova Scotia. I've read it. It kind of makes sense to me. Bad exemption means no offense. I don't, Marcel, Al, what are you guys thinking? Anything?
Makes perfect sense to me, as far as I'm concerned.
To me, of all of the times to use the Polkoa and the Beano argument, this is the right time.
But it's funny because all the prosecutors just kept saying, Crisco says that Section 4 and Section 5 of the have been struck down or of no force in effect, and she keeps going, yes, they are. And he keeps going, no, they're not. And she keeps saying, and it's ridiculous. He even said to the judge, even though she said it to you 7 times now, Your Honor, doesn't mean it's true. She can keep saying it all she wants.
If I was Chris, I would have said, show me where it's still in force and effect.
A lot of it comes down to the interpretation, and Chris,
that's the problem we have with Canadian law. Is all of it is interpretation. It's how each individual interprets the law.
Yeah.
And what would be the easiest way to eliminate any misinterpretation of words on paper, boys?
Well, that's why a lot of judges will ask for written submissions.
Now, the problem is there's words on paper. Until we get that through our heads, we're going to keep losing. People have to understand this. These statutes were not written to give us our rights. They were taking our rights. They're not going to twist the words a little tiny bit and suddenly we get our rights back. It doesn't work that way. Statutes are written to take something from the people. That's all they do.
We've always had to fight for our rights. The problem is these days people don't fight for very much at all. We are the most apathetic society I've ever seen.
They were stolen.
In Spain and in Turkey and in places like thousands and hundreds of thousands of people pour into the streets.
How about the country nobody talks about in the media? Iceland, that has no debt.
They fired everybody. They put the bankers in jail.
They threw out their parliament, and they're rewriting their own constitution. And they have zero debt as a country now because they refuse to pay those debts.
They don't have a Rothschild bank either.
Not anymore because they threw them out.
Yep. And they put the few that didn't leave in jail.
Yeah. Well, they gave them basically 24 hours to get out of the country.
Yeah.
And if they weren't out of the country, they went to jail. That was the politicians and the CEOs of the banks and all of the financial institutes.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's like all of a sudden they have an actual monetary system that's based on something that you can prove exists, unlike the rest of the world, and we don't see it coming. Like silver just went to $15. I think it was $15.01 at the close on Friday. And people still don't understand that that's what we used to use for money. The year that I was born was the year they started weaning us off. And a year later, it was gone. Yeah. You know, people don't even know what money is. They think that zeros and ones are money, or a piece of paper with ink on it is money. You know, there's a reason why we're not taught such basic things. Like, we should be learning this in grade 3.
The people that control the illusion of money have it that way.
Yeah, well,
that's why you're not taught it, and you have to go out and learn it on your own, or you hear it from people like us that sound like lunatics until you think about it, because then you find out that we're actually 100% correct.
Oh, and if anybody wants to understand what we're talking about and still thinks that we're just blowing smoke, look for I had it just a second ago and it fell out. I think it fell out my ear hole. Hidden Secrets of Money.com. Go through every video and you will understand what we're talking about.
Say that again, because I was talking and I interrupted you.
No, it was hiddensecretsofmoney.com. It's Mike Maloney's site. He's got a ton of videos on the history of money, like what money is, the fact that we're using fiat debt notes, the fact that, he didn't specifically mention the fact that I think it was in 1973 that Trudeau gave the right to print our currency to a foreign power. Like, up until then, we Canadians used the Canadian people's own Bank of Canada to issue and, control our currency supply. And we haven't had that since. And now we're looking at what? $1.8, $1.9 trillion in debt now? Geez, I wonder how that worked.
It's like they say, smart motherfuckers sound like crazy motherfuckers to stupid motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it is, though.
But just to make it simple so people actually understand how it works, what you do is you go to these bankers to get permission, or to these foreigners, whoever they are, to get permission for us to print our own currency. And they say, okay, we'll loan you a piece of paper that gives you permission to print such and such of your currency, but you owe us such and such of your currency plus interest back. But since we didn't get permission to print enough of our currency to cover the interest, we have to go back to them later to get more so that we can print enough to cover the interest. And by that point, we've used the principal, so we need more of that too. So we keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger loans. And it's actually, it's impossible to ever repay that kind of lending. It's not possible. That's why there's the only way we're going to get out of it is a global market or a global fiat currency collapse. And it's coming.
And most of that stuff is completely over my head.
Yeah, me too.
And
That's
kudos
why
to North Korea for still being a holdout.
So let me ask you guys a question. What do the words "get up, stand up" mean to you?
What?
What do the words "get up, stand up" mean to you?
Beginning of a reggae song.
Well, yeah, that's where I'm going, but...
Well, you asked. I gave you the answer you wanted then, right?
Not really.
Get up and stand up for yourself.
Did I win a prize?
No.
I win.
Marcel won a prize this time, again.
Sorry. I do
You're
good.
number one with me, Marcel.
Oh, you'll always be numbered. No, you'll be a number.
Not sure what number.
You'll be a special number.
45B. This is the 420 radio show. We're live on lifestyleradio.net. I don't know what's going on in the chat room, but I'm sure something is. Pop around, say hi. This is Bob Marley. Get up, stand up.
I love this song.
For serious and for true, man.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. Isn't all that glitter is gold? Half the story had never been told. So now you see the light. Hey, stand up for your right. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is worth, you would look for yours on earth. And now you see the light. You stand up for your rights. Yeah. Get up, stand up. Yeah, yeah. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Life is your right. Get up, stand up. So we can't give up the fight. Stand up for your rights. Lord, Lord. Get up, stand up. Keep us traveling on. Don't give up the fight. Yeah.
We're sick and tired of your ism, schism, game, dine and go to heaven in Jesus' name, Lord. We know and we understand. Almighty God is a living man. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights.
Yeah.
So you better
Get up, stand up.
in the morning. Give it up.
Stand up for your rights.
Stand up right now.
Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight.
Don't give it up. Don't give it up.
Get up, stand up.
Get up. Stand up.
Stand up for your right.
Get up. Stand up.
Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight.
Get up. Stand up.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up.
Oh, what a guy.
Marcel, you know me too well.
I know, buddy.
Well, seeing as how we're back on air, we've been talking about the dispensaries. The battle over Canada's cannabis supply chain is reaching a fever pitch as the country's state-sanctioned medical cannabis companies call on the government to shut down the hundreds of illegal cannabis dispensaries across the country. There are 27 federally licensed producers, LPs, of cannabis in Canada, and they're the only ones legally allowed to grow and sell cannabis, and only to medical patients through the mail. Much to their dismay, the number of cannabis storefronts has exploded into hundreds since Justin Trudeau was elected Prime Minister with a promise to legalize cannabis for recreational use. To dispensary owners and their suppliers, cannabis is as good as legal, and it's a great time for everyone in the business. Now, the LPs have abided by Health Canada's intense regulations and invested millions of dollars to grow and sell medicinal cannabis, have started lobbying the Liberal government to shutter the dispensaries that eat into their profits, put the public at risk, and operate with impunity, apparently. While the association representing the licensed producers has previously asked the government to address the dispensary question, their frustration has taken on a much harsher tone. Earlier this week, Canada's largest cannabis grower, Canopy Growth Corp., which owns Tweed Inc., said it had enlisted lobbyist Insight Canada to urge the government to build the recreational market out of the licensed producer system by first allowing licensed producers to ship recreational cannabis throughout to the mail to adults over the age of 19. Even though Trudeau still hasn't said exactly what his plan to legalize, regulate, and restrict will look like, many dispensary owners and activists fired back at licensed producers, charging them with dismissing patients who want to buy and consume their cannabis on their own terms, and profiteering off the backs of those who fought Health Canada to make the substance accessible in the first place. These lobbying efforts disturb me because the LPs wouldn't exist today if not for the peaceful civil disobedience of dispensaries in decades past, said Jody Emery, the well-known cannabis rights activist. When Trudeau got elected, it was a resounding victory and our movement's goal was accomplished, we thought, but we've sat back and we've witnessed the LPs and former law enforcement calling to continue some kind of prohibition. And that's what they're doing. I mean, they're shutting down dispensaries all over the place. They're still raiding them with the Liberals winning based on the promise that they made. They're still arresting patients. I spent every day in court this week for patients on cannabis-related charges.
Wow.
It's all bullshit. I'll tell you,
every day.
Here's an easy way to shut up the LPs whining about dispensaries. Allow LPs to sell to the dispensaries and then let them prove how good their products are.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Right? So the LPs that have all of this big stockpile that they're never going to get rid of to the patients that then fucking inflate their prices can lower their prices to their wholesale pricing schedule.
Did the LPs have to throw their stuff away the way that Prairie Plant System used to have to throw it away because they put the expiry date on it?
I don't know.
Or are they just going to repackage it and put it in another bag?
I'm hoping that they're storing it all properly. And
I don't know.
Yeah, the idea of an expiry date is an arbitrary figure anyways. It doesn't really mean anything.
I don't care what they do with it. But my point is if they changed the rules and said you guys can supply your products to the dispensaries, and the dispensaries could turn around and buy them and make them available to customers. The question would then be, who's going to sell more? The home grower that's selling it to the dispensary, or will it be the LP stuff that's getting sold?
People want to see what they're buying when it comes. Most times when it comes to cannabis,
right? But if they can go to if you go to a dispensary and they've got Meditrust strains here, and they've got Organigram strains here, and then they've got other strains that come in from whoever, home garden. The test of time would be who's selling the most. Is it the home garden stuff selling, or is it the licensed producer stuff that's selling?
Well, not only that, but if the dispensaries can order from the licensed producers anyway, the dispensaries will carry what the people in that neighborhood want. Okay, exactly. and people will get what they want because they'll go, well, can you guys order this stuff for me? And that's what will happen.
Right? I think it was a mistake that the LPs went the LP route without have the ability of being able to have a dispensary. Because seriously, I'm not going to buy medicine sight unseen.
No, you buy pills sight unseen, and people don't understand. Well, if you buy pills sight unseen, why wouldn't you buy your cannabis? Well, because it's different. You can tell by looking at it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't buy bananas sight unseen.
Yeah, can you imagine you go into the grocery store and all your broccoli's in a black bag?
You let somebody else, you write down what you want, you let somebody else pick your stuff up. You know what some of the stuff's going to be like in your cart. It's going to be beat up, bruised. They don't care. Okay, I'm going to pick the stuff that I want.
Exactly.
I think in the long run,
anyway,
it's going to be the quality.
The MCPAC did a survey, and what the survey showed was there was enough room in Canada for all three levels, for home gardens, dispensaries, and licensed producers, because they all fill a niche. It's just not forcing them under that regime of you have to buy from here.
Just look at how Colorado's doing. Of course there's enough room for everybody. Jesus.
Of course.
Look how much, it's ridiculous.
Can you guys not hear Pig?
Who?
No, not at all.
No.
Why, was he talking?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, never heard a word. Good job, Pig.
Hello, Piggy.
Who's the DJ here?
Hey,
nope, still don't hear him.
He's cutting in and out, I guess.
Oh.
The joys of the internet.
Well, if you lose
there
me...
he is. There he is.
Oh, okay. Back again.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's not. You can't hear him.
No. And we're live.
Really?
If you lose me, it's because we're having a snowstorm with thunder and lightning.
I'm going to call you back, Pig.
Okay.
You didn't hear him.
No, not at all.
Wow.
You see if you get him, I'll go on the next one here.
You're gonna go.
What's your next one?
I'm calling this one the Rona Ambrose Flip Flop, and it don't stop.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Dale says they could hear him.
What's that?
Dale in the chat room says they
got
can
a better
hear him.
connection now.
Okay, so it's just us.
Can you hear him now?
No.
No. You sure?
Really?
Oh no, Dale says I can't hear him either. Make up your mind, Dale. If you're gonna sit in the chat room and give me updates, you got to make up your mind. And tell
This is getting weird, man. It's really getting weird.
The fact that Rona Ambrose didn't break her back. What's that?
Go, keep talking.
The fact that Rona Ambrose didn't break her back flip-flopping her views on cannabis only goes to show that facts or science never had anything to do with a conservative stance on cannabis. It was an ideology, and that could only be an ideology abandoned by somebody as cold-blooded like a snake, unable to change their skin. And like the snake in the Garden of Eden, she lied to us all. Lies spun in the dark corners of Parliament, hissed and hushed among those in control. But now, with no one willing to hear her lies, she sheds her skin once again and slips into the fold as a wolf in sheep's clothing. Under Ambrose, Health Canada's propaganda and media presence was so nakedly political that none of the main groups representing Canadian doctors, be it the College of Family Physicians and Surgeons, the Canadian Medical Association, and the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada, would endorse it. We see you, Rona, and the lies that you've been telling, we aren't buying. Hopefully, interim leader is as close as you're ever going to get. Because, I mean, she's all in Trudeau's back pocket going, so when are you going to legalize? Let's do it now. How about now? Now?
Yeah.
So when it was something that was so bad that she was trying to save us from ourselves, now she can't wait.
And our children. Don't forget the children, when nobody ever thinks of the children. What about the children? What about the children that need cannabis?
She's a hard person to take.
No, she's a politician and she follows the party line. And now she's at the top of the heap for the party. So she can say whatever the fuck she wants.
Well, hopefully that won't last much longer. Speaking of government, When the government connected industries that wish to shut out their competition, which in this case is a plant, they lean on the state's ability to stifle competition through claiming a right to the intellectual property behind a particular set of ingredients, otherwise known as a patent. Since no one can patent a wild plant, pharmaceutical industries turn to their labs in chemistry to recreate nature. The drug Marinol is an example of a pharmaceutical chemical compound that is produced and used to mimic nature.
Nature failed in that one.
Exactly. Contains a nearly identical molecular structure as the THC molecule and has a similar effect of cannabis on cancer patients in regards to increasing appetite and etc. But unlike its natural counterpart, Marinol does not grow on trees. This impulse to exclusively own the rights to life-saving medicines is nothing new. However, with the ever-increasing scientific data showing the miraculous effects of cannabis on healing the human body, Big Pharma is hurriedly attempting to imitate these same effects in their labs. This haste is proving to be deadly in at least one example in France. According to Oost France, recent tests conducted by BioTrial on behalf of the Portuguese pharmaceutical company Bial has left 6 people hospitalized in Rennes. One of those 6 people was declared clinically dead at the University Hospital of Rennes last week. After news of the hospitalizations broke, media around the world began to put out misleading headlines about cannabis research being the cause. However, according to Marcel Gignac, France's Minister of Health, cannabis was not involved in these studies at all, only a synthetic ECS stimulant designed to mimic cannabis's effects. So the real plant's not good enough, so we'll fake it and kill people in the process. This is absolutely ridiculous.
I'm on, what do you call it, Sesamet, so which is similar to the Marinol, I guess.
What's the most amazing about that last article was the next one. And even though this has happened, a groundbreaking medical trial using synthetic cannabis to treat seizures in children with severe epilepsy is about to start at the Austin Hospital. This medical cannabis, unlike its recreational counterpart, doesn't get people high. The international clinical trial, which has already started in the U.S., is the first for Australia. It will investigate whether the medicine is effective in treating severe childhood epilepsy. Austin's health pediatric director, Professor Ingrid Scheffer, said the first part of the trial would involve a 12-day hospital admission to investigate correct dosages of the drug cannabidiol, or CBD. The medical trial drug contains a therapeutic type of man-made chemical, CBD, and not the compound found in the recreational party drug, I love how they say it that, which mimics the effects of tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, which gets people high. The trial will target children and young people aged between 1 and 17 years. Professor Scheffer said criteria for being part of the trial included screening for severe epilepsy, having trialed 3 types of medicine without effect in ongoing seizures. So even though they killed people in France doing the fake one, they're not gonna let that stop them. Fuck, man, I love their dedication. They don't care how many people they wipe out to prove a point, eh?
Right, because now what they're trying to do is they're trying to mimic CBD.
Well, why do you need to mimic it? It's right there. Just use it.
We've already proven that CBD only doesn't work for epileptic kids, because all of the kids that were on CBD only end up eventually going to whole plant cannabis. So they should look at the proof in practice before they waste their time and money.
Can we hear Pig now?
I don't know.
Did you hear
Wish
him?
I could. No.
I can hear you.
No.
Really?
No.
That's fucking weird, man.
There's no Pig here, man.
No. Pig's not here.
Well, technically, it's sort of half here.
Okay.
Somebody's here. Nope, somebody left.
Huh. All right.
No.
Well, you know
Gonna
what?
be one of them nights.
We're gonna take another break and listen to some Uwe Banton, The Root of It. It's a cannabis song. We'll be right back, trying to fix this here, And this is the 420 Radio Show, live on Lifestyle Radio.
Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. This is the cannabis song. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. This is the cannabis song. If you know the roots of it, then you will find the truth in it. If you know the roots of it, then you would make use of it. They have been hiding the truth for so long, trying to tell the people using the herb is so wrong. It has been here since 10,000s of years. Now is the time to drive away those fears. Come on, people, open up your ears. That's why we're singing it loud and clear. If you know the roots of it, then you will find the truth in it. 'Cause if you know the roots of it, then you will find the truth in it. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. This is the cannabis song. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. This is the cannabis song. But Bali said, excuse me, while I light my split, knowing that the cannabis is a precious gift. Because they told us so many lies. To some people this might be a surprise. To see my spliff as a blessing in disguise. Time for the herb to win the Nobel Prize. If you know the roots of it, then you will find the truth in it. If you know the roots of it, then you will find the truth in it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is the cannabis song. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. This is the cannabis song. So I beg you, do not turn youths into criminals by declaring something good into illegal. It is helpful, it is useful, it is natural, and for your meditation inspirational. Known all over the world, it's international. From the Rastaman down to the Cardinal, they use it as a holy sacrament, well spiritual. The only crime about it, it's still illegal. If you know the roots of it, then you would make good use of it. 'Cause if you know the roots of it, then you will find the truth in it. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. This is the cannabis song. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. This is the cannabis song. If you know the roots of it, then you will find the truth in it. 'Cause if you know the roots of it, then you will find the truth in it. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. This is the cannabis song. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. This is the cannabis song.
So what are you doing? Nothing. Nothing? Why not? Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website. Sounds like a cool website. Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it. You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
I calls up buddy, hey yo, I need some more green again. QP or D's again, no seeds and keep the stem. I wanna get blazed like I was 14 again. Wait patiently, grab my bongs and start cleaning them. I anticipate, where's my cash, get it straight. Got a scale, check the weight, better be no fucking shake. I have no funny taste, for my money's sake. Look buddy, wait, I should get a break. The shit you said was grade A, it's straight hay. For the money that I pay, you should roll me up a J. He said that's all she wrote. We laughed and had a toke. He got his cash and hit the road. I got my stash, I'm good to go.
You got some bud, buddy. I need some bud, buddy. I got
it's been used by all men. Marijuana is a cultural medicine. Don't you believe all the things that you hear? For ganja is coming, yes, Jah is coming. Times have changed from buying a dime at a time and trying.
And we are back. It's the 420 Radio Show. We are live on Lifestyle Radio. And I hope we sound better. And the pig, we found the pig again.
We got the pig back.
Awesome.
And I finally got this Hangouts thing started.
So he's trying to get into our little hangout here. We're going to continue the conversation. We were talking about the news and what's been going on. Chris has been finding subjects for us to talk about. And what's next on the list? There he is.
Well, just the last thing.
Whoa.
Shut off your Skype, buddy.
There we go.
There you go.
You hit it about 9 times now. Do I have sound?
You have sound?
Yeah. You have sound.
We have sound.
Okay.
You can shut off your video.
Where are we at here?
Up top. Anyways, Chris, what do you got? What else you got? Well, he's doing that.
He's got nothing.
That was the last story there that I had for my news. I mean, we just stretched out by 420 seconds to an hour and 10 minutes. So.
That was all right.
Okay, so
I can't argue with that. It's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
I don't know. Some people like that kind of stuff.
Ooh, now we're getting kinky.
Yeah, but you can only like it twice.
I gotta sit here and look at a fucking picture of a pig now.
Smiling pig. Some happy bacon.
Is he happy bacon? Yeah, is he a happy bacon?
Oh yeah, I saw that one, and I can't remember who said that to me. It's like 20 years ago or something. I've been using it for practically forever.
Is that Wilbur?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So what else we want to talk about? There was something else we wanted to bring up, but I can't remember what it was.
Washington State.
Okay.
All right. So Washington State, of course, has legalized marijuana for recreational use.
Yes. What's your point?
Well, they don't get talked about as much as, say, Colorado or anything else. They're kind of being left back in the limelight. And the biggest reason is their legalized marijuana program only allows them to buy it.
That's correct, but I can't remember.
They can't grow it. Of course, has... What happened?
That was just me reloading the chat room. Okay, now
hold it out of his nose.
Hold on a minute, because if I don't remember, I may be wrong, but I seem to remember correctly that when they Washington State went back to court, same kind of argument that we're having here with the whole growing thing, and I thought that they did something good with that.
Yeah, well, you can grow in Colorado, Alaska, Washington, D.C., California, I think was the other one that was listed there. Let me find the article again.
Oregon.
And Oregon.
That's what Dale said, yeah, Oregon.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
I'll find it again. How
many states are there now? You see, this is why we need an American representative. We also are looking for somebody from outside of North America to kind of give us a bird's eye view of what's going on in Europe and other places in the world. So if you're interested, get a hold of one of us, please and thank you. When is the Seattle Hemp Fest? Has that already been?
I know. Wrong side of the continent for that.
I know. Although I'd like to go to that. I hear it's really good and really fun and all that stuff.
They did a walkthrough video of it last year. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've only been to one. I went to the last Global Marijuana March thingy that they had there, the Toronto Freedom Festival.
I couldn't even. I mean, I've only been down here. I mean, I haven't seen anything big in numbers since Expo 86. So
we went to, my buddy and I just happened to be in Oshawa last 420, and we went, and there was like maybe 6 kids sitting up on the stage, and they all kind of scrambled when we showed up because they thought we were cops. So I wasn't impressed with it. I had heard that they had a really good one in Oshawa, but apparently not.
All right, here's the article. I found it. I knew I'd find it.
Okay, he found it.
So, it was written on the 4th of February this year, yesterday. So it was written yesterday. Washington may have, it's called If Marijuana is Legal, Why is Growing Your Own a Felony? Washington may have legalized marijuana in 2012, but that doesn't mean it's legal for you to grow your own. Washington is the only state that has legalized marijuana for recreational use, but has banned its adult citizens over 21 from cultivating their own.
Ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Does anybody know the word that I have in the back of my mind that would fix that problem?
Asshole?
Repeal.
Well, there's a few of those.
Repeal.
It's really honest. It doesn't matter.
One-word answer. It's a one-word answer that can fix a lot of fucking
Hey,
problems.
I know. Does it start with an R?
It's got a P in the middle of it.
But it's one that
say
they're not
that. I
even
might have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, they are talking. Somebody's talking about it in Michigan, and I'm trying to think of what his name is. But this is if the guy gets the support that he needs, it's going to be the first actual. What do they call the referendums over there? It's a citizens' initiative. It's going to be in Michigan, and it's going to be the first one that specifically calls for the repeal of cannabis prohibition. So all of these states and all these provinces and all these, government bodies that are all trying to legalize or decriminalize or do whatever they're going to do in order to make people think that something has changed when they actually keep everything exactly the same. It just, without criminal, without immediate arrest. Well, Michigan they're going to try to actually do it.
I bet it'll get vetoed.
Well, people don't even understand what the word means. It's like all this, the coalition against repeal. Now people in Canada think that the word repeal is bad.
Mm.
So it's like, oh, for Christ's sake, use a friggin' dictionary, people. Everybody wants their freedom back, but they don't even look up the words free and legal. That's how you know whether you're free or whether you're legal. It's that simple.
The biggest problem we have in the whole cannabis movement is most people don't understand the differences between repeal, legalize, and decriminalize.
Yeah. I actually look on Urban Dictionary.
I love that
I've got
site.
a definition for legalize and decriminalize on there.
Legalize and decriminalize.
Yep.
Explain the difference, please.
Somebody spit it out. Come on. I don't want to have to look it up.
There you go.
I'm slack. I'm lazy. Help me.
Okay. I will cheat.
Tell me a story.
No, I had the answers in a mum newsletter. Obviously, you don't read the mum newsletter.
He got you. He's got your fucking number, Chris.
Sorry, dude.
I thought you guys wanted to tell everybody else. You just want to tell them they should go look at the frig up themselves.
No, I want to hear it now from you since you read the article.
I'm not the one that's spitting this. I already talked for an hour and a half. Tell us.
What a way to
He's
you
right.
know my definition?
Yes, I'd love to hear yours.
My definition that I put up on Urban Dictionary for legalize is to legalize means to write a statute which thereby exports a given object or substance, expanded in recent years to include concepts, thoughts, or actions, from the tangible, real, physical universe where it can actually be proven to exist, and imports this object or substance into the imaginary realm of statutory control, enforcement, and penalty, which only exists inside of a courtroom environment or the prisons they draw their revenue from. This can be used to make something illegal or to make something legal. This cannot, however, be used to make something free, which many people believe means the same thing as legal. It doesn't. To be legal requires statutes which specifically limit and restrain your freedoms to those which are preordained by the statute. People have been begging to legalize cannabis since the 60s. They still haven't clued into the fact that it was legalized a century ago. So as they beg for more of the same, they actually get the more of the same they were begging for. The reason we haven't restored our freedoms is because we keep begging to legalize what is already legalized, never understanding that in order to be free, we must repeal the statutes which legalize those actions, concepts, or items and made them illegal. You cannot restore your freedoms by adding more restrictions onto the pile of statutes which originally restricted your freedoms. Eventually, this will become obvious to all, although for the last century, we have somehow managed to remain completely and willfully ignorant of this fact.
Yeah, if it's going to be free, it can't be legal. It shouldn't be legal or illegal. It's free.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's the one basically on cannabis that was done from the article that Chris obviously didn't read.
Suck it!
Much confusion exists with these terms in our general population. Many of the activists within the cannabis movement also were either confused or deliberate in their wording. When you look at various groups and activists, you will see them advocating for a change to the laws. The problem lies in which change do you support if you don't know the differences. Decriminalize. Cannabis is still illegal and controlled, which means it is still a black market commodity. The decriminalization of possession of small amounts will result in a fine instead of serving jail time. Law enforcement are advised to use their own best judgment. Legalize. Cannabis is still illegal and controlled, which means it is still a black market commodity. The legalization can be multifaceted, but in most cases it results in specific groups allowed to purchase from regulated outlets. Restrictions are placed on home production if authorized at all, and sales could be subject to taxation. This is the situation currently in Canada. A specific group is allowed to buy cannabis to be used as medicine or have personal production with restrictions, as of the date of writing this. Because of the black market aspect has not been removed, the prices will be at or above street pricing. Repeal. A repeal is the removal of a law. If a law has been found unjust, it can be repealed but requires an act of Parliament. A repeal of cannabis laws would be a result of removing it from the Controlled Drugs and Substance Act for being neither toxic or dangerous. This would allow for personal production as well as industrial. The black market aspect would be removed, decreasing crime. The need to hide cannabis production indoors would be removed, decreasing the risk of fire and mold. Essentially, this would revert the laws back to the way they were in the early 1900s, which allowed and encouraged the production of hemp and the use of cannabis-based medicines. And that's the easiest way that you can look at it. Yep. Is the only way that we can actually have a free plant is to have the law repealed. And to remove it from health, or to remove it from the Controlled Drugs and Substance Act is a signature. That's all that's required to remove it. And once it's removed, then the law is automatically repealed because there's nothing to equate that law to. It's that simple.
Yep. That's a
sign
mouthful,
a piece of paper and it's a free plant and everybody can have it, and it can be treated like carrots and tomatoes. If you're going to sell it commercially, then you get licensed to sell it commercially, the same as you would if you're selling tomatoes. But if you want to go and set up your cannabis table at the local flea market, no problem, because there's always people that will be willing to buy it. Because not everybody can grow it.
That's right.
It's no wonder that people who are concerned about cash don't say the word.
Oh, yeah,
money.
Exactly.
Well, but
I'll say it.
Go ahead.
I'll say it. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it
Rented
real loud, okay? Where is it?
Yeah. So I have a cannabis-based business, but nothing would make me happier than to have it completely repealed, because my business is basically consulting and assisting legally authorized patients that I can legally do. But I think everybody in the country could use assistance from people like us.
So why don't you tell people about said that?
Pardon me?
Tell people about said that.
About said what?
Business.
After the Smith ruling and reading it over, that complete judgment about 500 times, the laws are of no force and effect for any patient in Canada that's legally authorized to possess cannabis to be able to exchange derivatives of cannabis to other patients.
Which means what?
Which would have always been deemed as trafficking.
Yes.
But the way they wrote the regulations in that Supreme Court decision, which was a unanimous 7-0 decision, right? So it's binding. They're not going to change it. They allowed us derivatives, which are concentrates, hash, oil, edibles, topical creams, and all of that are completely legally available to patients that are legally authorized.
But the solvents to make it are not.
Yeah, you're not allowed to make things with the organic solvents. Anything that can.
It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that in the ruling, though.
No, but it does say in the. It does say somewhere that you're not allowed to produce it.
Health Canada can say whatever the hell they want.
No, it's not. It's not there. It's in the Narcotics Control Act, or
again. Health Canada can say whatever they want, but they're not going to be able to compete against a 7-panel unanimous judge panel. All it says is derivatives. Doesn't say where it has to come from or anything like that.
Oh, absolutely. We're allowed to have it, allowed to trade it, exchange it, barter it, whatever you want.
Sell it, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the thing is, you're not supposed to be able to make it.
Yeah.
No, it goes back to that. If there's words on paper, somebody's going to interpret it differently.
Exactly. It's everybody's interpretation of the law. My interpretation of the law is I'll have a business. I'll supply authorized legal patients. And if we have to go to court, then I have no problem challenging laws that shouldn't exist.
I think a lot of people are feeling that. I've heard
said in 3 trials this week by the Crown, okay, that patients are allowed to exchange derivatives amongst themselves now.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, I know that is the truth. Okay, but it's. I
wonder how many people are actually allowed now.
What do you mean allowed? I'm allowed. I make topicals, massage oils, lip balms.
Anybody that's a patient can get any other patient's derivative, products. Edibles, creams, salves, whatever. Anything that the LPs aren't providing, we're supposed to be able to have access to. And if we can't get it from the LP, got to get it from someone.
What I mean is, what percentage of Canadians are statutorily denied their rights? That's the question. That's the one that the angle that nobody takes.
Well, it's all of the Canadians are statutorily denied in one way or another.
Yeah.
Right.
Even the ones that have paid for their sliver of rights back.
Right. But now, ideally, the way this works is a patient that goes with a licensed producer, all right, under the MMPR, are legally authorized. Well, they can turn around and buy products from us.
Yeah.
Because they're legally authorized.
So what would such a company be called if you were going to do such a thing?
I would call mine Cannabis Technologies, and I'd probably offer classes and consulting.
And where might somebody find such a place?
I'd probably put
internet?
a domain up under cannabis.ca or something silly.
Okay. Cool. That would be a really good idea to do if you were going to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. But the idea is, if you're going to do it, then make sure you use top quality products and you test. And I would never test on animals. So no product I ever make would ever be tested on animals. I'll only test on humans because I like animals.
Taken, Marcel. That's pretty peculiar.
Pardon me?
That site seems to be taken.
Oh, really?
That cannabis one, yeah, it seems to be already occupied.
Bastards. You never know who's out there.
I wonder what kind of products they have. I'm going to have a look. Actually, hold on a minute. I've got a package here.
Oh my God, you did.
No, don't pull out your package.
That was quick. It just got here.
Just make sure your can's off.
Actually, I've got cannabis.ca is the name of the website, and it is Marcel's new business and
my venture.
Adventure. And I've got he sent me some samples here that I'm going to be using over the next little while just to review. And I got to say, buddy, as far as prices go, they're very reasonable, because I tell you, I'm sitting here holding what you call a buccal spray. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Okay. You want to tell people what that is? Because I've been using it since I got it yesterday, and I'm feeling pretty slappy.
Well, it can be pretty strong, especially if you're using it. So the recommended dosage on it is 1 to 2 sprays every 4 to 5 hours, as needed.
Yeah.
Ideally, it was. I'd like to say it's for pain, but I mean, people are using it for everything.
Now, I'm finding getting really. I mean, I'm smoking my brains out too. But can you tell me, like, is it basically a tincture?
Basically, yes, it is. It's basically an emulsion but taking advantage of the omega-3 lipids found in hemp seed oil.
Okay.
And then some flavoring, just to take away the bitter aftertaste.
Peppermint, I take it?
Creme de menthe.
Oh, close. I was. You know what?
It's a mint flavor, but
Kelly said that's what she tasted.
Yeah. It took a while to find the right flavor to use, because I mean, I hate the taste. I've always hated the taste.
So this is something that you use?
Oh yeah, all the time.
And you could use...
basically any product I develop will be one that I'll test on myself.
Well, I mean, I don't care about the testing. Obviously, you're going to do that. But what I'm getting at is, this is something that you would use for maintenance?
Yeah, it's great to carry into a pocket, and then if I go to a meeting or something that's going to be a while, and I need to medicate, and it would be kind of rude to get up and smoke a joint, I can just spray one spray in my mouth, and I'm fine.
Now, would you be able to use this in a vaporizer, like a tincture?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't, because it would be kind of stupid to do that, because it's an omega-3 lipid. If you heat omega-3 lipids, they're no longer omega-3.
But it would vape,
you'd be literally burning vegetable oil.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, don't smoke that shit, man.
No. Well, hey, I mean, I'm a big fan of tinctures and stuff like that. I used to take a half in the morning, half teaspoon in the morning, half teaspoon at night, and I was a happy camper.
Oh yeah.
The other stuff here that you sent me, the cream for my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, my feet are bad, man. So
and you can use that that cream on everything.
Well, yeah, I'm going to use it on my eczema and my feet and my elbows.
If you have eczema,
yeah,
it's hit or miss. It depends on how severe your eczema is. It may not be able to penetrate deep enough.
Well, so far it's just on my forehead when I'm out of the shower.
Right. For ones that have really bad eczema, we have another product called Canna-D.
Okay, and what's that?
That's actually a lot of cannabis mixed with DMSO.
Which is?
Which is dimethyl sulfoxide. It's a sulfur organic compound that's essentially a solvent that has unique characteristics. It's completely non-toxic and safe for humans. But anything that dissolves, it'll carry across the skin. And it dissolves cannabis oil beautifully. The problem is trying to figure out how much, and you need a lot to make it work good. So,
what other kinds of stuff are you going to come up with?
I've been spending all week studying gynecology. I mean, I've gone from studying autoimmune diseases and neuropharmacology
damn, where's that
now
song?
to gynecology.
Where's that damn song again?
Here's what happened: is I made a lube.
Yes.
And the lube that I made is really meant more for her. And what I was thinking, and in mind, because the majority of our patients are older patients, yes, and an issue with older women is dryness, I wanted to come up with a lube that would not only supply cannabis, but excite and promote self-lubrication.
Horniness.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's not just this, horniness. Yeah, okay, I wanted to get them hot, all right?
He said, honey.
Yeah.
Let's try an experiment.
The old folks just a rockin'.
I did some research, figured it out, sent it out for testing, and the reports I was getting back was I had the best sleep I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And all of my fibromyalgia pain was gone.
Yeah.
So now, instead of giving them one that, ends up causing oxytocin to be produced in the brain.
Yeah.
I'm looking at vaginal delivery, and I don't like the idea of suppositories. So I'm trying to come up with something that might be a little more comfortable.
Alrighty then.
How's that?
Yeah. I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah. And then I'm going to start working on cannabis chewing gum.
I'd be a guinea pig for that.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the other thing that you've got here, and you'll have another review on the lube at some point soon. The canna sticks. Tell me about that. Why would somebody want to have cannabis in a stick?
That is awesome for your lips, because I mean it was designed as a lip balm, and it's got some peppermint in there, so it's
like
nice
a
and cooling.
Blistex.
Pardon me?
It's like a Blistex.
Yeah, but it's got cannabis in it at the same time. So
that's what I mean. Yeah.
It's basically antifungal, antibacterial, antiseptic, as well as analgesic. So I carry one of those in my pocket all the time. Get a small bite, sting, or a burn, pull that out, put it on, it's gone instantly.
Yeah.
If you have cold sores, within a days your cold sore is gone and completely healed.
So something like this, because the cannabis, we know that cannabis will. I know. I have a friend who has. I haven't told this story in a while. I have a friend who has herpes, and he asked me if cannabis would work. I said, "Well, take some of this." I had at the time I was doing the show with Amy Brown, and she had sent me some balm, and I said, "So take some of this and go rub one out, and come back and tell me how it went." So a couple of days later, he said it went away, like instantly, almost. He said, so, I've tried it on burns, and I've tried it on a friend of mine has warts. He put a dab on it, gone in a few days.
Yeah. See, what I decided to do was come up with products with the very best quality ingredients.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get, I'm not in this for the money. I'm not in this to get rich. I'm in this to be able to supply and pay my expenses. So I'm doing this more for patients than anybody else, even though there's a whole, $30 billion or $1 trillion health and beauty market.
Yeah.
That could storm in a matter of minutes, especially with my pricing structure.
But, yeah. But
they won't let me play.
There's going to be an explosion, and
there
regardless of anything that's going to happen in the future, there's going to be a huge explosion on the marketplace. You're going to start seeing things like this popping up here, there. They already are.
They already are.
And as well as a lot of places are going to start doing edibles and stuff like that.
Right. So the biggest difference between me and a lot of the other ones, because a lot of the dispensaries are doing this, they hire a licensed patient. That licensed patient can then sell derivatives and edibles to other licensed patients.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine, perfectly legal. Call it gray, call it whatever you want, but it's the way it's written, it's perfectly legal for them to do that.
Oh, you know, you should get in touch with Darcy Stoddard.
Why? Who?
She makes a whole bunch of stuff called hempies.
Yeah.
And it's all basically made out of the hemp root. It's like THC free. So that might be...
I don't see that goes against my whole philosophy.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that it could, you wouldn't have to have a license for that.
Yeah, you do, because CBD is still listed on the Controlled Drugs and Substance Act, as well as a lot of other cannabinoids.
Really? Interesting. I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. Go and look at the list. There's a lot of cannabinoids that are listed there. I don't... unlike those guys that are on the dispensaries and selling out shatter and things like that, that's not what I want to do. Personally, I don't want to be selling 1 and 2 and 3 to each individual that sends me an email. I would rather sell directly to the dispensaries, and they can turn around and sell my product.
There you go.
I'd rather do it as the manufacturer. That way, they can cover some of their expenses, and the patients still have availability to it.
And at a reasonable cost.
At a reasonable cost, because I've already set retail prices, and I have a wholesale price structure for distributors.
Huh.
And I have a distributor in PEI that's going nuts because there's never been anything like it in PEI.
See, this is what I've been saying all along. I've never been against people making money. I think that it doesn't matter what you do to earn a living, as long as it's honest and as long as it provides a benefit to the people that you would consider your customers.
Well, I've looked at competitors, and I looked extensively at competitors, and I'll give you an example. The cream that Al got, so it's a 30 milliliter cream. That retail price on that is $20 for that retail cream. I can't find distributors that have anything close to it price wise for the amount. I've seen $50 and things like that. And to me, patients can't afford $50 for that much cream. The thing could last you a month or two. But a $50 hit seems a bit excessive for somebody like me that's on disability.
Yeah. It's actually, it's a lot bigger concern than most people realize. When they start talking about, we'll just create some new cannabis-specific taxes so that, the sick can pay for it. Well, the sick can't pay for it.
That's right. We don't have the money.
A lot of them are on disability pensions, or they're on CPP or whatever. They don't have $1,000 to piss away just to give it to the government, because that's exactly what they're actually saying.
Yeah.
It's a clawback of what little the government is giving these people to survive.
Yeah. The only other stipulation that I'd have, though, is with this is my distributors are patients.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So basically, I know how hard patients are have a hard time surviving. I'm not going to let healthy people be distributors.
Well, actually, it makes sense, because that way they're going to actually sample it. So when somebody comes to them and say, well, do you have something for this? They're going to say, yes, I do. I've tried it myself. I know it works.
great way to do it, isn't it?
Yep. Absolutely.
So we don't need all the flash and fanfare and things like that. We make quality products.
I'm sampling a product right now.
You're what?
I'm sampling right now.
Oh, are you?
Yes, I am.
I'm afraid to find out what he's sampling because I did send him lube too.
Oh no, I'm not sampling that right now. I just took another spray.
Oh, my problem with it, well, it's not really a problem with the lube. It's the smell. I also make a massage oil that it almost puts me to sleep, just the smell of it. It's just so relaxing and peaceful.
Really?
And while the lube is rather exciting.
Well, you would hope, yeah.
Yeah. So, different products for different things. I've been looking at possibly even going the road of suppositories.
I think that there'd be a big market for that because a lot of people,
we've been proven success with suppositories.
Well, explain
for a long time
why,
and
it's because it's interesting why. I mean, somebody says a suppository with a high. Explain why.
Ottawa.
Pardon?
Ottawa.
Well, other than Ottawa.
The ideal, a lot of people have a very low tolerance to the effects of cannabis, whether it's smoked or ingested. And that's because when it goes into your system, it hits the blood that it goes into automatically goes to the liver, converts into hydroxy-11 THC, and you get high. When it's done through the anus, it's collected in the blood vessels that have already, or the arteries and such that have already left the liver, and carries it all to the organs. And by the time it gets back to the liver, there's not much left to be converted. So we've had people putting 5 grams of oil, which is the equivalent of 50 grams of bud, in a suppository and putting up their butt and not getting any high off it at all. Claims have basically been tingling, feeling, and comfort and relaxation, but no actual buzz. So it's a great road of medication for kids if you're afraid of them getting high, and old people that don't like the high. Put me into a hospice for a month. Let me see what I can do in a hospice. I bet I could have a lot of happy people in the hospice.
Or at least have a lot of people with a lot less pain.
Yeah, or at the most part, I'd have a lot of happy family members in the hospice that are coming to visit because they'd be able to have coherent conversations with their loved ones instead of somebody that's all garbled up on constant IV drips of narcotics.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like cannabis. It's a nice medicine.
It's a nice plant.
It is. Well, I mean, it's. There's no other plant on the planet that's as beneficial.
I call it the most diverse product on the planet. On the planet.
Yeah, it is.
It's like the word fuck.
Yeah, it's completely diverse in every aspect.
I've never heard it put that way, Chris.
You think about how diverse the word fuck. It's a verb, it's an adverb, it's a noun, it's a pronoun, it's
Let's
an
try
adjective.
something here. Let's try this here. 1 second. You ready? Okay, hold on. Cannabis.
Yeah, okay. Yes, that worked.
Sorry.
What do we got on next week, Al?
We have the folks from the National Cannabis Patients Wall joining us. And they'll be here to talk about what they're doing, and they're also starting a Canadian wall as well.
Well, that's good because I signed their U.S. wall, but I'd like to sign the Canadian wall.
Me as well. Yeah, Dale, who was in our chat room, has made those arrangements, and I believe it's Jennifer and Vicky, I think, that are... I don't have that file open. That's for next week. But I believe it's Jennifer and Vicky that are going to be joining us from the National Cannabis Patients Wall. And then coming up in the near future, Hypatia Lee, who is a former adult film actress, and she now writes a column for High Times Magazine. She's going to be joining us to talk about what she's doing. And she's had a hell of an interesting life. Okay.
I bet she has, but I bet we can talk about lube.
Oh, yeah, she might enjoy that conversation. Also, Dana Larson has said that he'd like to join us at some time, so we're going to make those arrangements. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, get a hold of Marcel or myself or Electro Pig or Chris Backer or even Lori McEachern. She has an instant line right to us. So, give us a call or say hello. We'd like to also have you on if you have a patient success story.
Or a patient failure story.
Or I was going to say, or a failure story. What we're trying to do here is more of a presentation from the prospect of a conversation in a living room, or the perspective. And but at the same token, I love to play the devil's advocate. So you're going to find me talking about, and Marcel, and Chris as well. Oh, hell, all of us. Talking about stuff that somebody else may not agree with. And that's cool because everybody's entitled to their opinion. And that's half of our point doing this, right?
It's like having that annoying brother in the room that won't shut up.
Yeah, hi, my name's Al. I have a microphone. So, yeah, that's what we're doing next week. Electro will be around a little bit more often than he has been. He's going to be hanging out when we need a third.
Now that I figured the hangout thing, how to get the thing to work.
There you go. Ross Middleton will also be joining us from time to time. And like I said, we're also going to be looking for some female counterparts. And Lori, of course, will be around when she can.
We could try and get Adrian when he settles down and picks a country with some internet.
Adrian said...
and we could use Adrian because he's got an accent, so we could use him as our female counterpart once in a while, too.
Oh, he might like that.
I don't know. To each his own.
Yeah. So this is the 420 Radio Show. We are live here every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right at lifestyleradio.net and lifestyleradio.ca. We are out of Ontario, Canada. With Marcel being in Nova Scotia and Laurie in Ontario and Chris in Nova Scotia and I believe the
down near Windsor.
I was going to say no fixed address.
Yeah, no fixed address for the pig, but he's in Ontario here with me.
Well, not like with him, but like in the kind of neighborhood.
Yeah. Before we go, though, because it just dawned on me that for anybody that's in New Brunswick listening this evening, there is still going to be a New Brunswick chapter mum meeting tomorrow in Penobscot area.
Where?
Pardon me?
Where?
Penobscot.
Can you say it again, please, one more time?
Penobscot.
Thank you.
New Brunswick. Yeah, it's just outside of Sussex, between Sussex and Moncton.
I also talked to Fabian Henry today, and
so did I.
Yeah, and
he's a busy guy.
Yeah, he is. And as soon as things settle down for him in a little bit, we're going to have him on. He's opening up another. I don't want to call it store, another office
location,
but I can't remember where. So we'll wait until he comes on, and we'll talk to him about it then.
Yeah,
cool. And he's from the marijuana
for trauma.
For trauma, yeah.
Yeah, veterans helping veterans.
Yeah, I enjoyed hanging out with Fabian in the spring. We were hanging out there. We went on a little retreat for a weekend with a whole bunch of people from the cannabis community in Canada, and. Yeah, you may have. Some of you may have remember that night. The night we were supposed to do a show. Kept saying we were going to do a show.
They never did. Yeah, it was so nice of you.
Yes, that was that. You can blame that on the mosquitoes.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's the time.
I've hung out with Fabian a couple times. I enjoy hanging out with Fabian.
Yeah, he's very informative.
Then again, I'm also a veteran, so.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he suggested that maybe going down to the Lift Expo might be a good idea to talk to some vets about their life and how they're doing using cannabis and all that fun stuff. So we got some stuff going on.
Well, being a licensed patient, would you like to be set up as a distributor out and take that to Lift with you?
There you go. Maybe.
There'd be lots of happy people then.
I bet, eh?
Mm.
Yeah, I bet. Always on the sale, eh?
Why not?
Yeah.
Tis the season.
'Tis the season to be something.
No, I mean, ideally it's either go big or stay home. So.
What happens when does that apply to men with small penises?
What? Yeah, but I could probably come up with something to help fix that.
And on that note,
you guys all have a wonderful week.
I have some Sensi Rock loaded up. This is Roll Up, and we'll be back next week. Good night. Thanks a lot, Pig.
Take it easy, guys.
Chris, Marcel, as usual. Hasta luego, or however you say it.
Hasta la vista, baby.
I'll be back. Party on, dude.
Yeah, man. What's going on, man? We'll be back.
So, I suppose it's the end of the show. Oh, you lot, piss off.
There you go. Piss off. Right from the pig.
Oh yes, me roll it. Me not care what you say, strictly herb it on me brain. Yes, me love the cannabis, yeah. Me name a Senserakia. Me always have Mary's line. Oh yes, me roll it. Me not care what you say, strictly herb it on me brain. Roll up your ganja split. Roll up your ganja split. So you can pass me the whistle, pass me the whistle. I wanna be less spliff. If you have the ganja, can't smoke with anyone to beg everything. You got something for yourself. Smoke ganja hard. You got with the Lord. Oh yes, me roll it. Me not care what you say, strictly herb it on me brain. Yes, me love the cannabis, yeah. Me name a Senserakia. Me always have Mary's line. Oh yes, me roll it. Me not care what you say, strictly herb it on me brain. Roll up your ganja split. Roll up your ganja split. Alright. You never see me beg you feel no like that. No rolling paper, no ganja. Me own things always there. In a me backyard, me grow a big cali tree. As soon she a go ready, me a go smoke and nice and steady. So now the herbs come around. Me a fair rising on the morning, me a go pick up from the ground. That's my where this came from. Sensera coffee, me name and me marijuana of the flower. Oh yes, me roll it. Me not care what you say, strictly herb it on me brain. Yes, me love me cannabis, yeah. Me name a Senserakia. Me always have Mary's line. Oh yes, me roll it. Me not care what you say, strictly herb it on me brain. Roll up your ganja split. Roll, I know. Roll up your ganja split. Oh, it's the healing of the nation, yes. I got to smoke my ganja weed, yes. And then now smoke the seed. Neither we go kill the weed. No, no. Roll up the split now. Oh, me love me some Samina. So you must get up with marijuana. Whoa, 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 yeah. Roll up your ganja split. Roll up your ganja split. Ganja split. Roll up your ganja weed. Yeah, yeah. Roll up your ganja split. Smoke ganja till your head red. Roll up your ganja split. I ain't going to away. Roll up your ganja split. Yeah, man. Sense Rock and Silver Walkers in the studio live.
and Derek.
No.
From Jam Rock in Silver Walker, and the big man is from there.
You like music, you like weed, well, we gonna be good friends indeed. This is not much I like more than smoking trees. They'll make you dance the do-si-do and teach you how the chiva grows. Smoke a bowl on the 420 radio show. On Lifestyle Radio.
So what are you doing? Nothing. Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.